What's the slope? Negative 7/5. Looks good to me. What's the slope here? Negative 7/9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Yep, looks good to me. What's the slope here? 6/5. And what's the slope here? 4 over, looks like 9. No, it's not negative. It's positive. Positive slopes lean to the right. Negative slopes lean to the left. Just like numbers. Positive numbers are on the right, negative numbers are on the left. Everybody good? Yeah, we're marking. Did I... What next? Like this one? Should you simplify fractions? Should you simplify fractions? Why would you do that?
Because it said the line 3 pair of points.
Yes. Would Mrs. Bad Crumble let you hand in a non-simplified fraction? No, she would not. No. Because when I say Mrs. Bad Crumble, I mean your elementary school teachers. And your elementary school teachers always wanted you to simplify fractions. I am the first teacher you have had that said, isn't 6/8 the same as 3/4? It's the same answer. I would give you credit. Right? I know this because I have 2 kids that have just gone through elementary school and they got their questions marked wrong for not simplifying. It's not wrong, but they say it is. So this is, of course, 38 over 20, which is 19/10. And is it positive? Yes. Negative 13 up to 7. Negative 20 down, or 20 down to 18. No, it's negative.
Can't you go again?
38, 20 minus 18, 7 minus 13. No, it's positive. It was positive. Sorry, my fault. 19/10. No. What number goes into 19 and 10? Nothing. Now, would I accept 1.9? Yes, 100% I would accept 1.9. Because that means it goes up 1.9 for every one it goes to the right. What about this one? This is 2, 8 minus 6, negative 5 minus 18, 2 over negative 23. Whoa, slow it down there, big stuff. This is 33, 9 minus 9 over 27, which is 11 over 9. And this is 16 minus 3 is 13, 10 minus 0 is 10. For 4 marks. Any questions? All of us can do subtraction, yes? Y2 minus Y1, X2 minus X1. If it's minus minus, it becomes plus. What's the only trick you have to remember? Keep the pairs. Once you decide on a Y2, that X coordinate is X2. You cannot mix them up. Slope of each line, is that in slope-intercept form? Is Y isolated? Yeah. So is it in slope-intercept form? Yeah. So what's the slope? 1. The number that is with X. 1. Is that in slope-intercept form? Yes. What's the slope? 3/5. 2 marks there, making that page out of 10. One each. Slope. 1/2. Slope. 5/4. Is that in slope-intercept form? What makes it slope-intercept form? So y equals negative x plus 3. What's the slope? Negative 1. Is that in slope-intercept form? No. What's the slope? Negative 5. Is that in slope-intercept form? No. What's the slope? This one's trickier. 9/2. What's the slope? -7/5. All of them for 1 mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any questions about 14, 15, and 16? Because they were slightly trickier. Is that a hand up or are you stretching? Which one?
We can just put it over once and just bring the whole number.
Sure. No other questions? Everybody understands? You just isolate y. When did we learn how to do algebra to isolate y? Grade 5? 6? All right. Let's do some graphing. Y equals -1. Where's the line? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. Through what? -1. On which axis? On the y-axis. Right there. Huh? Well, you don't need a slope. Just says sketch the graph. But the slope of a flat line is what? 0. Because it's not a slope. Huh? Undefined is straight up. Yep. Because it's also not a slope. It's a cliff. X equals -4. Horizontal or vertical? Vertical. Through what? -4 on the X. Right there. Sim sim salabim. Is that in slope intercept form? Can I graph it in 2 seconds? Where do I go? Up to 3 and then down 2, don't say over, to the right 1. Or up 2 and left 1. There's that line. And lastly, is that in slope intercept form? Yep. Y is isolated. What's the slope? Oh, sorry, what's the y-intercept? 0. What's the slope? So up 1, left 1, or down 1, right 1. There you go. That is worth 4, making this page also out of 10. Any questions about graphicking? That's not a real word, so don't say it. Ooh, 21! Is that in slope-intercept form? No, what has to move? The y and the 4. To get it to what? Y equals what? X plus 4. That gets you 1 mark because you had to move that around. Now graph it. Up to +4. And I need a slope of +1. So I'm just going to go out here to -4, right? Down 4 over 4. There's my line. Everybody cool? Yep, it's out of 2. 1 for the graph. Because you had to, these ones you had to move it around, right? What about 22? What's got to move? The y and the 20. So I'm going to have 6x. I know it's blue. 6x minus 20 equals 5y. Now what? 6/5 x minus 4 equals y. Go down to -4. 6/5 up 6. To the right 5. And there's my line. Any questions? Now, don't take this the wrong way. I am very happy to hear a lack of questions. Now, how could you take that the wrong way? You could say, Mr. Myers doesn't want us asking questions. That is not what I said. I'm happy to see a lack of questions because it seems to me that everybody understands what is going on. Right? Right. Even you, Tajir, even though you just got here? You're good? Okay. What moves here? The y and the 15. So I start with 2x minus 15 equals 5y. 2/5 x minus 3 equals y. Minus 3. Up 2, right 5. There's my line. And in this one, just the x has to move. Y equals negative x minus 1. Negative 1, slope is negative, so down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. And there's that line. 2. X plus 1 equals y. So I got a plus 1, and now I've got a positive slope. And 2y equals negative x plus 4. Now what? Divide by 2 to get negative 1/2 x plus 2. Go up to 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. And there's that line. Making this page, if I'm not mistaken, out of 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Everyone is good, yes? Yep. Now, I expect if you actually did these first 2 pages that most of you are sitting around 20, 21, 22 out of 22. Because up to here, there's not a lot of thinking involved, right? It's pretty mechanical, yes? After this, we get into some more snaky questions, right? I want the x and the y intercepts. What is every single x-intercept? X, 0. What is every single y-intercept? 0y. What happens to the y value when I seek an x-intercept? It drops out, yes? So how would I rewrite this if I was seeking only the x? 2x. I'm only looking for x, so minus 8 equals 0, right? So 2x equals 8, so x equals 4. If x equals 4 and that's an x, what is my x-intercept? Other way around. 4, 0. Now, if I am only seeking a y, what's going to happen to the x? It's going to disappear. Now, that's a little hard to read. Some of you probably said that was 6. Some of you might have said that was 5. I don't know. For me, it looks like a 5, but I heard some people saying 6 like 2 seconds ago. Does it matter what you read that as? No, because you're going to do the same math with it, right? When you put it on the graph, I'm going to know what you did. Yes? So the x is going to drop out, so now we have 5y minus 8 equals 0, 5y equals 8, y equals 8 fifths. So my y-intercept is 0, 8 fifths. Or 8 sixths if you did 6. Did anybody use 6? I only say this because recently kids have been using 6 on this. I gotta reprint it so it's better. Everyone used 5? Yeah? I'm just about to get to that. If you were to turn that to a decimal, that is 1.6. Yes? Right? It's still graphable. If you're going to leave the scale the way it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and 1.6, kind of in the middle of 1 and 2, yeah? No. There would not be an open dot. And that would be the line. Everybody happy? It's out of 3. Now stop. We'll talk about the other way in a minute. Some of you might have done this. If you did this, and that's what your graph looks like, you get 3. Now, some of you might have said, 8 fifths. I know what to do with that. Myers says to change the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 1. 6, 7, 8. There is 8 fifths, yes? But I cannot get 4 on this graph, can I? Because 4, I would need to go all the way up to 20, wouldn't I? I cannot do that. So I had to leave this one as 1, right? So some of you may have a slope that looks very steep if you change the y scale. If you did that, you still get the full 3 marks. Everybody understand? Now, 1 second, Nathan, keep the thought in your head. If I asked you to find this slope the way I have it right now, could you count? Yes or no? Satcho, you always do this. You say both. Which is it? Can I count or can I not? No, I cannot. Why not? The scale is different. I am only going up 8/5, but I am running 4. So I cannot count. I actually have to do math to find this slope. Everybody understands? All right. Now, Nathan, go. Two different scales of your axes like this? Yes, of course you are.
What if I saw 1.6, I value minus 1.5?
Yeah. So if you change your scale to 0.5, then your y would be 1. So that would be 1.5. So 1.6 would be just a hair above that. Then you could get 8 out here, and that would work too. That's perfectly acceptable. As a matter of fact, that makes me very happy that you were taking some ownership of how you do your own graph. It makes me very happy. Everybody cool? Everybody's comfortable with what they should be giving themselves? All right. Next question. What do you see there? You see x, y, and an m. What are we doing? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Which is which? Does it matter? Does it matter? Keep the same pairs. So if you make this guy what? You're going to make that guy y2, which makes sense because you're going to start with a y then. What would that make him? And this would be, and this would be, so I would have y, what? Plus 2, because it's minus 2, right? Over 2 plus 3. 6/5 equals y plus 2 over 5. How do we solve this every single time we have fraction equals fraction? Cross multiply. What's 5 times y? 5y. Plus, what's 5 times 2? 10 equals what? 30. 5y equals 20. Y equals 4. Pardon me? Of course you can. But the problem with that, Nathan, is the same problem that you guys always have. If I give you this question in algebra, x plus 3 equals 7, you all say 4! And I say why? Because 4 plus 3 is 7. That's not why. It's because 7 minus 3 equals x, right? Now, the problem with not actually doing the work, even when it's easy like this, is when it becomes this. Then you don't know what to do. And you have the nerve.
Could all athletes and PE leadership students for Storm the Wall meet at the front entrance? That's all athletes and PE leadership students.
Why can't she say athletes?
To the front entrance.
She said all athletes and PE leadership students. Both times she did not say athletes. Anyways, that is why you should do the work anyway. Because you people have the nerve to tell me that this is more difficult than that. And it is not. Now, could you also have done this graphically? You could have, right? You could have gone out to -3, -2, over to 2, gone up 6 over 5 and figured it out. Do I care what you do? No. If I cared the way you were doing this question, how would I tell you the way I wanted it done? I would write it right here. Find the value of y graphically. Or find the value of y algebraically. But since I did not ask for that, I do not care. That is also out of 3, making that page out of 6. Everyone is good? Okay, this is a very difficult question. I have given you a graph here to use if you need to, because this question can be done both graphically and algebraically, but it is very difficult. What does perpendicular mean? Opposite reciprocals, yes? So I'm going to have line 1 and I'm going to have line 2. And we know that whatever line 1's slope is, line 2 is going to have the same numbers but reciprocated with a different or with positive or negative, opposite value, yes? All right, so how do I figure this out? One of the lines, line 1, is 3x minus 6y equals 12. What can I do with that information right now? If I get y by itself, what is the reason I'm doing that? To isolate y, and what will that tell me? It will tell me the y-intercept and, hell yeah, slope, which means once I have that slope, I know this slope, don't I? So let's find that slope. 3x minus 12 equals 6y, yes? So 1/2 x minus 2 equals y. Agreed? Everyone agree? So what is my slope? 1/2. So what is my L2 slope? -2. Just -2 or -2/1. Is everybody happy? Now, what else do we know about these two lines? They do something. They cross at the x-axis, not the y-axis, which means they have the same what? X-intercept. So their x, 0 will be the exact same thing, yes? So if I can find the x0, I will know the answer, won't I? Okay. How will I find that? What can I write right there? Yeah, 0. X. 1/2 x minus 2 equals, what's y? 0. 1/2 x equals 2. How do I get rid of this divide by 2? Multiply by 2. So what does x equal? 4. So I know my line 2, also has 4, 0 in it, don't I? Everyone agrees? Okay. So now I have an x, a y, and a slope. Y equals mx plus b. Can I use this information here? How? What will I write for y? Zero equals. What will I write for m? -2. What will I write for x? 4 plus b. 0 equals -8 plus b. What do I do with that 8 now? Move it to the other side. 8 equals b. Now, do I have a slope and a b for line 2? Yes. So, y equals -2x. What? Plus 8. That is the final answer. All done with algebra. Do you want to see it with the graph? It's going to be out of 3. How many? Some people would like to see it with the graph, I heard. All right. So this line I can graph really easily. We've got it right here, yes? -2 and up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. You can see right there is the x-intercept, yes? So from that point, I got to do a perpendicular slope, which is up to left 1, right? Up to left 1. Oh, I should be doing this in red because this is line 2. Up to left 1, up to left 1, up to left 1, up to left 1. There's my y-intercept, yes? Once I have my y-intercept, that is b. My slope, we know, is 8 over negative 4, which is negative 2, and I can get the same line. Is everybody cool? Do you have to be able to work with both? Is it better if you can work with both? Yes. Everybody cool? And then these last two, these two are pretty easy. Which can I find? AB or CD right now? I can find AB. The M of AB is what? 7 plus 8 over? No. You made 7 first, so what do you have to make first down here? 2 plus 3. 15 over 5, which is 3. If they are parallel, what slope will CD have? The same. So 3 will equal CD's slope, yes? What is CD's slope? No. We're trying to find A. So what would I write? A minus 0? A minus 2, because those are both y values, over 1, right? Because 1 minus 0 is 1. What is 3 really over? 1. What do I do every time I have fraction equals fraction? Cross multiply. What is 3 times 1? 3. What is 1 times a minus 2? A minus 2. Solve. What do you do with that 2? I add it to both sides, so 5 equals a. That's my answer. Right? Now, if they're perpendicular, what happens to AB's slope? It reciprocates to become what? 1/3, and it goes to the opposite, negative. Where does that negative go? Can it go up here? Can it go down here? Can it go right in the middle? Can it go in both? No. Since we know we're going to cross multiply, we should put it on either the top or the bottom, shouldn't we? Does it matter where? I would put it with the 1, just because it's easier to work with. Equals. Now, our CD slope is still a minus 2 over 1, isn't it? What do we do? What is negative 1 times 1? Negative 1 equals, what is 3 times a minus 2? Minus 6. Solve. What do you do with this? Comes over here to become positive 6. What's 6 minus 1? 5 equals 3a. Now what? Divide by 3. A equals 5/3. These are 2 each because you did the exact same thing with both of them, making that page out of 7. Is everybody good? All right. And lastly, first thing I want you to do is graph it in point slope form before you change the equation. So where do I go? Minus 3 on the x. 1, 2, 3. And positive 4 on the y. And then where do I count from there? Which means down 3 and right 1, 2, 3, 4. Could I go up 3 and left 1, 2, 3, 4? Yes. That gets you 1 for graphing it. Now I want all 3 other forms. But really, there's only two other forms, yes? Because standard form and general form are almost the same thing. Which one do you want to go for first? Because does it matter? No, it doesn't. What one do you want to go for first? General? Okay. General form is ax plus by plus c equals 0. What do I know about a, b, and c? What must they be? Numbers. Are they allowed to be fractions? No. So I got to get rid of fractions. What do I know about a specifically? It must be positive. What else is missing in general form that's visible here? Brackets. So I got to get rid of my brackets, yes? Let's start. Y minus 4 equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. Now, what do you want to get rid of first? You're all going to say brackets. That means you have to distribute a fraction and multiply it. Are you happy with that? You can. It's easy. But I wouldn't do that. I would get rid of this 4 first. And this negative. How do I get rid of negative 4 when I'm dividing? By 3? By what kind of 4? Negative 4. Which means what do I have to do over here? Negative 4. What does the left side of the equation become? Equals 3, not negative. We got rid of the negative. 3x plus 9. The 4's cancel. 3 times x, 3 times 3. Now what? Is x positive? Are there any fractions? No. So should I move x at all? No. X is staying right there. 3x. What happens to this? Positive 4y. What happens to this? Negative 16. What's 9 minus 16? Negative 7. Am I done? Yes, sir. That's general form. How do I make that standard form? What's the only thing that has to move? The 7. So what will it become? 7 equals 3x plus 4y. And what's my last one I need? Slope intercept form. What's the only thing I have to do to get slope intercept form? Isolate y. So let's isolate y. Is y positive right now? So, should he move? Move the 3x. Negative 3x plus 7 equals 4y. Now what? Negative 3/4 x plus 7/4 equals y. There is slope-intercept form. That one's out of 4 because you had to do all this algebra and graph, making that last page out of 4, making the whole thing out of 11, and 6 is 17, and 12 is 29, and 10 is 39. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen. I know a bunch of you didn't finish this. I'm not stupid. You all have one more year of math. At least. Possibly 2. This is critical skill. I say that a lot, but this is a critical skill. Being able to move equations around and understanding x comma y is just xy in the equation is absolutely critical to all grade 11 options. No matter what math you take, you need to be able to do this. You will also notice that there are some physics applications here. We make graphs in physics. There are biology applications here. We make graphs in biology. There are chemistry applications here. We make graphs in chemistry. There are social studies applications here. We make graphs in social studies. I do hope that you see that also in real life, you read graphs. Yo. Should it be out of 49? Did I add poorly? Did I miss a page? It's entirely possible I did. 10 on the first page. 10 on the second page. Yeah, I missed the 10. Yeah, it's out of 49. It is 10 o'clock. By my count, class ends in 8 or 9 minutes. Some crap like that. 15 minutes? It ends at 10:25? You know there's going to be a bell, right, Preb? So even if you say it ends at 10:15 and the bell doesn't ring, I'm still going to make you sit here. Does it say that on the app? See, I have the old app, and the old app says it's a regular day. It doesn't even change it. It says you're here until 10:55. No. Oh, because that's what you guys want to do. Here's your option. You can do more math. You can throw a softball at a target and drop me into a tank of freezing cold water. Yeah, amazingly, guess who gets the biggest lineup at the dunk tank? It ain't Shippets. Everyone loves Mr. Shippets. We can't make Mr. Shippets get cold. But as soon as Myers is on the tank, Miss Veenstra, Miss Craig was going to do it, but she can't because she's sick. I had a sore throat last night. I'm still doing it. If Mr. Campbell was in the dunk tank, it wouldn't matter because him sitting down is still too tall. His head would still be above the water. It wouldn't be any fun. What? Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, you start on and you work on pages 222 to 227. That's what you're going to start on tonight. I want to mark it tomorrow. I do not want this going over the weekend, which means tomorrow, with about half an hour left in the class, we're going to start marking this. So, I know I keep doing this, and one of the definitions of insanity is repeating the same behavior with a different expectation of results. I'm going to repeat the same behavior. Do enough work tonight so you can get it finished in 50 minutes tomorrow. All right? Now, I know it looks like a lot because it's 5 pages, but you will notice the very last page is one question. You will notice there are a great many graphs. Graphs take up a lot of space. There isn't a lot of work there. All right? And there's multiple choice. You are going to get stuck on the last question. Reminder, X, comma, Y. Or, doesn't X, Y correspond to independent variable, dependent variable? So, if you have a situation that doesn't use X and Y but uses IV and DV, could you still do this? Y equals M, dV equals MIV plus B. Does that still work? Does Y minus dV equals M bracket X minus IV work? Except it wouldn't be X and Y, it would be dV2 and IV2. And which one of those would be the points you knew on the graph? 2 or 1? 1. And isn't that one just the same as a y and an x? That's a very large hint. So you don't get stuck on the very last question. And I even recorded it. Why did I record it? Because I care. Right? Okay. Yo. Yes, all the time. It's actually really, really dangerous and stupid. Because if I'm not ready for that ball to hit the target, which it almost never does because none of you can throw. But if I'm not ready for the ball to hit the target and I fall, what is the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to breathe in, right? And I know all of you like to vape, but I don't like to breathe in water. Why? Because I know that makes you frickin' drown. I don't pay somebody to give me water to suck into my body. So, that is why it's really dangerous and stupid. Because the fire truck is how they fill up the dunk tank. Nice warm water.
Oh, that's great. I guess there's no hose.
I know, because the year is almost finished.